Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. My name's Stone Rain Productions, but please feel free to call me SRP if you like. Today, I want to redeem myself a little bit if I could. Last week I made a video about a DJ leader and vigilance, and I didn't really understand the leader, and I made the video, and after everything was done, I kind of realized my mistake. And so now I want to redeem that a little bit here. And what I've done is I actually really fell in love with this leader. I think it's fantastic. And I made a version for every aspect that I could. There is no such thing as triple cunning, so I couldn't do that. But I did make an aggression version. I made a vigilance version. And I made a command version. So we've got all three. I'm going to cover them all. I'm going to go over the interactions, and I'm going to give you the correct explanation of how DJ works here. I do want to give a quick shout out to another content creator. His name is Slowen Low Games. I'm going to put a link to his channel in there too, and he did a really great breakdown of this. I just didn't read the leader. It's my mistake, so I really apologize for that. But this, I think, is really going to be impressive. I'm going to go over all the interactions, and I figured that we'd start off with the aggression version of the list. And I think the two best versions of the DJ leader are either going to be aggression or command, and I'll go over everything in detail. We'll explain it. So let's start off. I'm going to zoom in on DJ. What did I get wrong? Okay, so let's cover the basics. DJ is the first ever double cunning leader. It's got two cunning aspects, and it's got an ability that says exhaust, choose a friendly unit. If you do, play a unit from your hand. It costs one less. The chosen unit captures it. So that's where I stopped reading it here. The reminder text is enormously important here. It says when played, abilities resolve after the unit is captured. So what this means is you have a unit in play, because this doesn't work unless you it doesn't work correctly if you don't have a unit in play. You would pay one, you'd exhaust DJ. You'd play your unit from your hand. It's going to cost one less. It's going to enter play, and then it's going to immediately get captured by your friendly unit. Once it's captured, the when played ability is going to become nested. In this game, it's when there's more than one trigger, they become nested. So one will happen, another one will happen, and you choose the order of how they go. So that's the short of it. This leader flips on 6. It's a 4/6 with Saboteur. The stats are not good. That's the one thing that I just do not like about this leader, is the stats are kind of garbage for a 6 flip. And its text on the leader side say that capture cards that are returned from capture, I'm just paraphrasing here, return to play ready, so they don't come back exhausted. Now, just a reminder here, when your unit comes back into play from being captured, the when played does not trigger. It specifically triggers only when it's played from your hand. There is one exception to this that we're going to go over in the command version, and it's really hilarious. So let's break down everything. I'm going to stay zoomed in. I was seriously considering playing Tarkin Town with this. I've been testing this version, and it's been doing just fine. So you could definitely sub in Tarkin Town if you want to. But the primary reason for me going over everything here is I want to just break down all the interactions here. So let's just start as we do in order. Criminal Muscle, I've got 2 copies of it. And I'm going to go quick, but I want to just focus on the interactions here, because I think a good portion of us know all these cards. Criminal Muscle is a 1-cost 2/1, and it has the Great One Played ability that you may return a non-unique upgrade to its owner's hand. So somebody plays a turn 1 Crafty Smuggler or a Secretive Sage, we can get rid of the shield off of it with our Criminal Muscle. And so if we were using DJ's ability, let's say we're going to just stick on this one. Let's say we have one criminal muscle in play already. We played it. We bounced somebody's shield. They somehow put another one on. Let's say they were using, I don't know, a leader that adds a shield like Luke. Okay, so not Crafty, but something else. Just for an example. So let's say we had a second one and we wanted to play it with DJ. We're going to exhaust our DJ. That criminal muscle is now going to cost 1 less, so it will cost 0. The second criminal muscle would then come into play. Then it would get captured by the first criminal muscle that we put into play. It gets captured. Then its when played effect goes on. We would then be able to return another non-unique upgrade to its owner's hand. And essentially, when the first criminal muscle dies, the second one will come into play. So it's rescued, so to speak. Those are going to be all the interactions. I'm going to go over them one by one. Some of these are a little bit more intricate than others. Reckless Gunslinger is really, really good in this list for 2 reasons. One, it's going to deal damage when it comes into play. And second, it's so good, especially with Pirated Starfighter. So let me just explain the interaction here. Reckless Gunslinger is a 1-cost 2/1, and it has a 1-played ability where it's going to deal 1 damage to each base. So that's ours and our opponents. This can also be smuggled, which is also good because sometimes this deck runs low on cards. So having some smuggle options is a very nice thing. Or plot. Plot is going to come up with this deck too. And this deck does some wild things. So we're going to skip to the Pirated Starfighter because I think this interaction is really cool. Turn 1, let's say that we play our Reckless Gunslinger. Deals 1 damage to our base, deals 1 damage to our opponent's base. Great. Then we use DJ's ability. Again, we're going to exhaust. We're going to make something cost 1 less. In this case, the Pirated Starfighter, which has the text. It's 2 cost, 2/4, and it's raid 1. And when played, when a friendly return a friendly non-leader unit to its owner's hand. So now we make it cost 1. We then put the Pirate Starfighter under the Reckless Gunslinger. Then the when played ability becomes nested, and it's going to return a unit. So the only one we have in play is the Reckless Gunslinger, which will then free our Pirated Starfighter and return our Reckless Gunslinger back to our hand so we can play it again, get another 1 damage off of it, and now we've got a 2/4 in space with raid 1 on turn 1. One of the really coolest ones is Stolen Landspeeder, and if you haven't heard this yet, it's really good because we're going to essentially be getting a 3/2 for nothing with this card, because the way the interaction works with this is normally the when played says your opponent's going to get control of it when you play it. The exact wording says, when played, if you played this unit from your hand, an opponent gains control of it. Okay? So let's just stick with our example. We've got Reckless Gunslinger in play. Then we activate DJ. We make the Stolen Landspeeder cost 1 less. Comes into play for 0. So we play it from our hand. And then it immediately gets captured by the Reckless Gunslinger. Then the when played happens. So in this case, the when played is going to try to give control of the Stolen Landspeeder to our opponent. The card's not in play, so it can't happen. Now when our Reckless Gunslinger dies, the Stolen Landspeeder is going to come into play, and our opponent never gains control of it because the when played does not happen. It's very cool. And apologies, I'm going to just try to skim over some of the cards that we already know to try to make it a little bit faster. I just want to focus on the interactions with DJ. Hotshot, DL44 Blaster. I think everybody knows this one, but 1 cost, we can smuggle it in for 3 with command and make something +2/+0 and be able to attack when it's attached. Crafty Smuggler is just kind of a good base to put our other units underneath, captured, because it's shielded. It's a pretty good base. DRK1 Probe Droid is... We really have upgrades covered in this deck. If you don't like upgrades, this is definitely the deck for you because there's a lot of upgrade removal in here. This deck kind of does everything. So the DRK-1 probe droid has the ability with when played, you may defeat a non-unique upgrade. That's pretty great. We've got that with Criminal Muscle. Exact same wording here, except this one is defeat, not return. So if somebody has an actual upgrade that they played from their hand, not just a token upgrade, this will defeat it completely. It's a 2/3, so we can get it into play with DJ's ability for 1 and get it captured by one of our units. We've already gone over Pirated Starfighter, so we've already gone over that a little bit here. So I'm just going to glaze over it real fast. This is a very key part of the deck because we can play something and then we can go in later on, get this captured by another unit, and we can return it. So it works great with like the Reckless Gunslinger, but we've already gone over that example. A new adventure, I'm still a little bit on the fence with this one. It's been good at times. I might cut this down to 2 and go with something else. But a new adventure allows us to return a unit back to our hand that costs 6 or less, and then we get to play it again for free. We could use it on our opponent's card if we wanted, but that's not the point of it. We want to use it on our own. Sometimes we can get multiple things captured under one of our own units, and then we're just basically jailbreak it with the new adventure here. It's very cool. Bodhi Rook is another one of the all-stars here because the enters when played, we get to look at our opponent's hand and make them discard a non-unit card. This is so good with DJ's ability because, again, we can do this for 2. It gets captured by one of our units. The ability becomes nested, and then our opponent discards a card. If we new adventure that, or let's say we've already played it, we can just new adventure it, play it again, and we can. It's very good at attacking the hand. I have been able to get that into play multiple times. It's been very annoying. There was one specific opponent that I really annoyed a lot with this one card playing against control. And I was able to just play it, bounce it, play it, bounce it, play it, bounce it, get it captured, have the effect. And then I did evacuate after. It just got really crazy. So I don't want to linger on it too much because I got 2 other decks to go over. Disabling Fang Fighter, just a little bit of space presence, but this also has a when played with you can defeat an upgrade. So there's a little bit of a trend. We've got 6 cards that can defeat an upgrade in here, and that's not even counting the whole bounce part. Cham Syndulla is really, really good in this deck. So if our opponent has ramped it all with like a resupply or super laser, we can play this for 3 with DJ's ability, let it get captured, and its ability is still going to go off where it's going to let us take the top card of our deck and put it into play as a resource. Cham is awesome, awesome, awesome in this deck, and it's not every matchup but anybody that ramps. Libertine, is the first time you play with this, it's a little bit of a... It's tricky. I'll leave it at that. So, the text on this is, it's 4, double cutting, 3/7. This unit gets +1/+0 for each capture card it's guarding. In my experience, it hasn't come up a ton, but it's still there. When played, we want to focus on the when played. Choose an enemy unit and a non-leader friendly unit. The enemy unit captures the friendly unit. So let's play out a scenario. Let's say we've got Bodhi Rook in play. And we use DJ's ability to put Libertine underneath Bodhi. So what will happen is Libertine will come into play. It's going to get captured by Bodhi. Then the when played gets triggered. Okay, the when played in this case means an enemy unit and a non-leader friendly unit. They basically, the enemy unit will capture our Bodhi Rook. Then, since Bodhi got captured, Libertine comes into play. So now we've got a 3-cost, 3/7 in space, and our opponent has the Bodhi Rook, which we could then free later on if we need to. It's really weird. It's pretty cool. So just something to keep track of. This also works really well if you've got multiple units that are guarded by one unit. Let's say you've got 2 or 3 things that are being guarded by one of your own units. You play Libertine and they all become freed. Cunning, I think everybody knows this card, but we get to play with it because we're double cunning. And for those that don't know, in this deck it's going to be a 4-cost event. Choose 2 in any order. We can return a non-leader unit that with 4 or less power to its owner's hand. Doesn't say enemy unit, so we can target our own if we wanted to. Give a unit +4/+0 for this phase. Exhaust up to 2 units, and opponent discards a card at random from their hand. That one doesn't come up so much. However, the other modes do. And it's such a big tempo card. It's so good. Cantina Bouncer, 5-cost double cunning, 3/5. When played, we get to return a non-leader unit to its owner's hand. Again, this works amazingly with DJ. Geonosis Patrol Fighter. I just want to highlight this because Exploit and DJ are like peanut butter and jelly. So we'll go back to our example here again, but let's just say Cantina Bouncer now. Cantina Bouncer is in play. We activate DJ's ability on the Geonosis Patrol Fighter. Now it costs 4. Okay. So when we play it, we can still utilize the exploit on it if we want. So we can make it cost 2. And this is really, really good on one of our early drops as well too. And this works especially good if you have a 0 drop like a Porg, because you can get this into play for free. So in this example, we'll make it cost 1 less with DJ's ability. We're going to have the Cantina Bouncer capture it. Okay, so the Geonosis Patrol Fighter will come into play. Let me back up. We're going to use Exploit. We're going to still target the Cantina Bouncer with DJ's ability. So we'll exploit the Cantina Bouncer. We'll now make it cost 2 less. We can get this 3/2 down for 2 with DJ's ability and the exploit built in. Yes, it does work that way. It's pretty cool. And this also returns a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less to owner's hand. Very, very cool, especially early game. My favorite interaction in this deck by far is with IG-11. And I'm just going to read the text. I'm sure you'll figure it out. 5 costs 6/5, which is pretty nice for the stats. If this unit would be captured, defeat him and deal 3 damage to each enemy ground unit instead. On attack, you may deal 3 damage to a damaged ground unit. So if we DJ this unit and put it under something, it's going to cost 4. It's going to come into play, and then our unit is going to capture it. This unit will not allow itself to be captured and will instead get defeated and deal 3 damage to everything on the ground that your opponent controls. It's essentially a 4-cost event that deals 3 damage to each ground unit your opponent controls and nothing that you control. So, I mean, worst case, you can play it as a 6/5, which is pretty nice. It's a good way to end the game. The Mandalorian is one that you don't really see a lot, but I think we will see it a lot now with DJ. 5 cost. It's a pilot, but I primarily use this on the ground, and its ability is when played, you get to exhaust up to 2 ground units. If you play it as an upgrade, you get to exhaust an enemy. The text says exhaust an enemy unit in this arena. So you can still play it, but I think it works better on the ground. And for 5/6, it's pretty great. Syndulla, I think you should really get used to seeing this card because it's probably going to be everywhere in aggression decks because this card is just absolutely busted. 6 cost, it has plot, so this has multiple purposes in our deck. 6 cost, 5/5. When played, you may attack with a unit. So we can plot this, which means when our leader deploys, we can play this also, and we could attack with our DJ right away, which is nice by itself. But we don't have to do that. We can pay 5 and use DJ's ability, let something else capture her, and then the when played gets triggered. So what will happen here is we'll still get to attack with a unit. The one plate's going to happen, so we still get our attack. It's just when the unit that's guarding her is defeated, we now get a 5/5. And since DJ deploys on 6, that's also the turn. Like, so if that unit gets defeated, DJ is going to make her come into play ready. It's just great no matter how you do it. You either play it from your hand captured, or when DJ flips, you can also put her into play. And when you do it that way, you're really getting 3 actions for 1 if you break it down, because you're putting your leader into play, you're putting this unit into play, and you're attacking with your leader or some other unit. I don't think that there's any other card in the game that lets you get 3 actions basically out of 1, and it's pretty wild. I do have 1 copy of War Juggernaut in here. This one also works great with the 1 blade because it's going to deal 1 damage to any number of units. Pretty cool. It's also good for our pilot, so Mandalorian can pilot this on the ground if they need to. And lastly, Evacuate just gets funny because if we've got a bunch of our own units captured by our own units, we can play Evacuate, return all non-leaders to their owner's hands, and then anything that was captured comes into play, and now we've got an out. This works especially well if we've got DJ in play, because now all those units return to play ready, and all of our opponent's units are back in their hand. This deck is wild, and I really love it. I don't want to go over the sideboard. I'm going to have all the links and everything below. I just want to jump into the next list, and because this is probably going to be a much longer video than normal, and I'm going to just try to glaze over it and go over the interactions. Next up, this is the biggest one, and we've seen some of these, so I'm going to try to limit what we go over. This is DJ Data Vault, and I'm going to zoom in, and it's the same leader, so we're going to just work under the same assumption here. We've got Criminal Muscle, which this one, just as a quick refresher, this would let us return a non-unique upgrade to its owner's hand. Good way to get rid of a shield or an experience token, something non-unique. Jar Jar is really, really good in this deck, and I think we're going to see a lot of it regardless, but the plot lets us do 2 different things with him. Plot works so well with DJ because we can plot and flip Jar Jar when a DJ comes into play, or we can use DJ's capture ability and give another friendly unit +2/+2. Either mode is great, and this card has really been fantastic in this list, in this version. Also, there's a lot of low-cost units in here, so we don't really have a problem with a turn 1 play. Lothcat, I don't really like playing this on turn 1, but it is definitely good on any turn after that. It's a 2-cost 2/1 with the 1 played, and when defeated, you may exhaust a ground unit. Nothing flashy, but we want to play this primarily for the ability. Again, I don't really want to play this on turn 1 so much. More like turn 2 and beyond. Patrolling V-Wing, 2-cost 1/1. When played, draw a card. Is just a cheap way to get extra cards in our hand. Sometimes this leader can run out of cards fast. It's nice to have an option, plus it's an early drop. Stats aren't great on it, but we're primarily doing this to get an extra card. Pirated Starfighter, we went over this with the aggression version, but same tricks work here. We get to play it on something, and then we can bounce it and free the Pirated Starfighter right away. A New Adventure, we've already gone over that with the aggression version. Ooh. Bodhi, we've gone over that as well. Rafa is new, and just wanted to try this one out. I haven't got to play with it yet, just because this is a 60-card deck, but the theory is it's a 3-cost, and it has a cool 1 played and on attack, so if we play it and we attack with it, it's still going to do something. When played, deal 1 damage to a friendly unit and ready a resource. So it may not be really exciting, but it's kind of interesting because we can ready a resource up. That was kind of the thought of it. We can not only cheat on our the cost to play this, we can get it down for 2 with DJ, but we can also then free another resource and get this down to 1 cost, and that's kind of the thought behind it. Resupply, just a little bit of ramp. We do have some later on as well, but we do tend to run a little bit higher costed units in this version of the deck, and resupply has been fantastic. 3 cost, and we get to put this event into play as a resource. Chemogia, heavy fighter, 4 cost, 3/4. When played, we get to deal 3 indirect damage to a player. Exhaust each unit damaged in this way. Another cool when played ability attached to a 3/4 in space. This one is definitely more evenly mixed up between space and ground, and there's a card that we're going to go over later that reinforces that. Libertine and Cunning we've both already gone over, so I'm going to just skip those for now. Cantina Bouncer we've also gone over. But with our more vehicle-based presence, Dornian Gunship seems really good in this version. Again, it hasn't come up for me in my own testing yet, but this version's been super impressive. This and the aggression, really, really nice. When played, deal indirect damage to a player equal to the number of vehicle units you control. If we've got a bunch of units out, it's free damage. It's pretty simple. We went over the Geonosis Patrol Fighter before. Same thing works here with Exploit. We can bounce something. It's pretty awesome. Mandalorian, same thing. We can exhaust up to 2 things with the when played. Cheating it into play with DJ and getting to exhaust 2 things. Crucible, I initially had some more in here, but I cut it down just because it's nice when it happens. But this is 6 costs, 5/5 space unit. When played, when defeated, give an experience token to each other friendly unit. So it's a nice way to just kind of build up our team, make them all a little bit stronger, buff them up. Naboo Security Forces has been wildly good in this deck. 6 cost, so we've got to pay 5 to get this captured, but it's really cool. When played, when defeated, you may disclose command. If you do, give a friendly unit Sentinel for this phase. It's pretty clutch sometimes, I will say. And the body's not terrible. It's still a little understated, but the ability is what we want to play this for. Down to our last row here, some of the heavy hitters. Resupply Carrier. For 5, we get to ramp again. That's really the gist of it. So we can either play it for 6 or we can get it captured for 5 and then put the top card into play as a resource. Evacuate to bounce everything again and free all our captured cards. Clone is the weirdest interaction with DJ. And this one does not have a when played ability. This has got a very unique trigger. And this one is as it enters play, it does not say when played. The wording on this says, you may have this unit enter play as a copy of a non-leader unit. So, it's not dependent on when played. However, we do want to have something in play or it's going to immediately die. So we clone, we pay 6, clone's going to come into play. We're going to copy it very, very, very briefly. It's going to enter play as a copy of something. So we could potentially get a trigger from something else that's already in play. Then clone will get captured by something. The when played will happen because this is as it enters, not when played. So it's going to enter in as a copy of something else, preferably something with a good when played ability like Mandalorian. Of note, this also cannot be a vehicle unit that it clones. When the clone is set free, it's an as it enters play trigger, or nested ability, I should say. So it's going to copy something when it gets rescued as well. So you got to bear that in mind, and timing does come into play. But there are some hilarious things that happen because you can copy things, and it gets rid of the unique trait. You could do double Mandalorian. You can do double Gore, you can do double Cantina Bouncer, any double Bodhi Rook, anything that you want. It makes it lose the unique aspect here. So as a copy of non-vehicle unit in play, except it gains a clone trait and is not unique. Very important to know. And it's pretty cool. Reinforcement Walker is definitely tricky, but you can, for example, get this captured with DJ's ability for 7. If you don't need the life, you get an extra card, or if you do need the life, you can mill the card to put the top card into your discard pile and heal 3. You can also run the unit that the Reinforcement Walker is guarding into, so it dies and or is defeated. Then the Reinforcement Walker will get set free. If DJ's in play, we can then attack with it right away and get the trigger again. And lastly, 1 copy of Gore for this version. Theoretically, we can get this down to 5 by exploiting 3. It doesn't happen so much. I have played it for 7, and it's been really, 6. With DJ's ability, you can still do the exploit of 2 and get it captured. And when this dies, especially if DJ's in play, it's bonkers because you don't get the ambush, but it still has Sentinel and it still has Overwhelm. And it's really good. So it's only happened once in the game for me, but it's been really nice. I'm not going to go too crazy with the sideboard, but Scanning Crew for Smuggle decks, Rail Soldier is nice for an extra 3 in direct damage. It's good for control decks if we need to. Favorable Delegate, I just have 1. I don't like the when defeated, but draw a card and 3 confiscates. And then we'll go into the last version here, which is similar to the one that we had last week, but with a couple changes. So the Vigilance version is not the best version of this, but we'll go over everything. A-Wing, just a cheap space unit. 1 cost, 1/2 with raid 2. Greedo's 1 cost, has a when defeated ability where we can discard a card from our deck. If we do, and it's not a unit, we get to deal 2 damage to a ground unit with Greedo. DL44, Hotshot DL44 Blaster, we can smuggle that. Crafty Smuggler, we covered from the first one, to shield it. Lobot does not have a 1 played, but it is nice because it's 2 cost Sentinel with Grit, and it's 0/4. Pirated Starfighter is in here again because it's a great card with DJ. Royal Attaché, I just want to go over this one because it's really interesting. 2 cost, 2/5, so extra stats, but it has a when played of deal 2 damage to this unit. That's never going to happen because the card's going to come into play, it's going to get captured, the when played will go there, the card's not in play, so it can't be damaged. So if it does get freed, we get an overstated 2 cost. Well, we're really only paying 1 for it with DJ's ability. Secret of Sage is another 2 cost, 2/2 with a shield. We've covered a new adventure and Bodhi and Libertine. Perimeter ATRT has Sentinel, so it's just a good way to soak up some damage. I think I fixed some of the problems with this version of the deck by adding another card we're going to talk about in a moment. Cunning, we've already gone over. Cantina Bouncer and Mandalorian, we've gone over. Cargo Juggernaut has been very good, and I'm glad that I added it in here because it's a 6 cost, 4/6 shielded, and when played, if you control another Vigilance unit, we get to heal 4 damage from our base. That's been very clutch here. If we capture it, it's for 5. It's debatable if that's worth it or not. In a pinch, if you need to do it and there's not a lot of pressure, you could do that, let it get freed, or a new adventure, play it again, and heal another 4 damage from your base if you need to. But for a decent sized body and restoring our base, it's pretty much worth it. Evacuate, we've already gone over this. We get to return all of our non-leader units to owner's hand. It's us and our opponent. Lando is really, really, really wild with DJ, and it works similar to Libertine. This one is 7 cost, 6/8 with grit, and it has the text, when played, you may choose an enemy unit and another friendly unit, friendly non-leader unit. If you do, heal 6 damage from your base, and the enemy unit captures your friendly unit. So we'll put this into play here. Let's say we've got the Mandalorian in play, and we've got enough resources where we can use DJ's ability. We can put this into play, and it's now captured by the Mandalorian. We paid 6. The when played goes on, becomes nested. Then we get to choose our units or our friendly unit to get captured. So we're going to choose the Mandalorian, let it get captured by a unit that our opponent controls, which then frees our Lando. We get to heal the 6 damage from Lando's ability as well too. So we get a 6 cost, 6/8. Our opponent is going to be guarding our Mandalorian, which we can set free if we defeat that unit. And we're going to gain 6 life. So this deck has been pretty decent at restoring with some of these changes. And the last card that I want to go over that we really haven't touched base with is Radiant 7. We need some way to finish, and we've got a bunch of mediocre units, really. Lando, Cargo Juggernaut, Radiant 7 is kind of a nice way to keep our tempo, but have a little bit of a finisher. It's a 7 cost. Each enemy non-leader unit gets -1, -0 for each damage on it, and when played it gets to deal 5 indirect damage. So we can do the capture thing with this and just get the indirect damage off of it. But it's a 5/6 as well, so it's a good way that we can kind of close the game out. Plus it kind of fits into what we want to do, is slow the game down, minimize the damage that we take. Sideboard, Val is a little weird. I initially was super high on this, not so much now, because if you use DJ's ability on this, the bounty's still going to go off, and your opponent's going to get the 3 damage. Val's only good if you play it as a base unit and capture things onto her. Ideally, the idea was to get the extra experience, but anyway, I would probably change that now. Criminal Muscle, we've got 2 copies there for upgrade removal. Lothcat for aggro, so we can slow them down. Sanctioner Shuttle is kind of funny in this deck because we actually would be capturing our opponent's stuff. And Waylay. So those are 3 different versions of DJ. We've got Aggression, Command, and Vigilance. These are definitely my 2 favorite. The Aggression and Command. So I hope that you guys give these a try. I'm going to have the links down below. I'm going to put the full lists in there as well. I'm going to put a link to Slow and Low's channel as well. Definitely check out his content. He explained DJ so well. Really appreciate it. And he's also a new content creator. So go over there, give him a like and sub if you want. And definitely could use any subs, likes. Definitely helps out a lot. The channel's still growing. We're up over 40 subs now. So thank you very much for all the kind words. The subscriptions, the likes really helps me out a lot. And yeah, other than that, I just want to say thanks for stopping by. I really love this leader. I think it's fantastic. I think that you will love it too. There's some really interesting interactions here. So just wanted to thank you for coming by. Thanks again for the support. May the force be with you, my friends, and be well. Take care.